The world feels a bit toxic and blah these days, doesn't it? The same old people coming up with the same old solutions for big problems that still don't work. We need to change the game. Well, welcome to Women Advancing. Join me, host Kate Byrne, in this dynamic bi-weekly podcast, bringing together female founders, funders, and thought leaders. Listen to the people driving change, how they got there, how you can help, and yep, how you might just be the next one to advance. Proof that all ships rise with women at the helm. That's what happens when Women Advance with Kate Byrne. Hey everyone, it's your host Kate Byrne. So what's it like to be a trendsetter and early to market in a sector that grows beyond just a trend, but into a full-blown movement? Well, we're going to find out today when I sit down on this episode of Women Advancing with the visionary founder and CEO behind the Mocktail Club, Pauline Idogho. Pauline and her team are busy redefining what it means to celebrate, connect, and build community in the fast-growing zero-proof movement, and growing with tremendous power in the very competitive ready-to-drink market. We talk about purpose, pivots, pleasure, and so much more. A former global development strategist turned beverage innovator. Yeah, that's a thing, and you can do it too. Pauline is mixing up more than botanicals and bubbles. She's actually stirring in by tapping into her global travels, cultural shifts, wellness awareness, and bold leadership into every can of mocktails. We talk about how she went from being an executive at the World Bank to world-class mocktails, how she ended up working with Pharrell Williams and the folks over at Black Ambition, and the real story behind her zero-proof pivot. She'll share exactly why pleasure, presence, and purpose are the new power trio. So sit back and drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Cheers. Women Advancing crew, we're so fortunate today because we've got the CEO and founder of one of the leading brands in the hot zero proof movement, and that would be the founder of Mocktail Club, Pauline Idogho. Pauline, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Really excited.
No, me too. And I have had the pleasure of witnessing Pauline pitch and watch her story and the product just literally get on fire. So I wanted you to share a little bit about that, because one of the biggest things to me about Mocktail Club is it's really more vibe than a product. So what was the spark that led you to create this sophisticated non-alcoholic drink brand, and kind of the story behind that?
Yeah, I mean, the story was a need for me. At the time, I was in finance for a while. When I was 8 months pregnant and celebrating with colleagues and realizing that, they were vibing with their bottles of wine and their good food. And people who weren't drinking had to be in the kiddie table. So, you were getting your grapefruit juice, you were getting your soda water. No one was really catering to adults who were willing to pay, who wanted to be part of the social experience, wanted to have something more sophisticated in their hands. And there were no options at the time. So I think that day, a serendipity would have it, venture capitalist in Washington, D.C., who does defense, was somehow sitting next to me and said, "You should do this." And I was like, yeah, how hard is maternity leave? It's like easy stuff, 4 months to start, incubate an idea. So I actually bought a domain name that day, and that's kind of how everything started.
Was there like a moment when you all of a sudden went, whoa, I mean, this is a thing. This is actually, there's a following, this is a company. It's not just sort of a pie in the sky, more than a hobby. It's legit.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely more times when I'm like, this is a thing. But I think the beginning when I was going to farmer's market, actually, because I was like, is this really a thing? Who's going to buy this? Is it another pregnant woman? Are there 5 of them, And what surprised me was just seeing healthy young people stopping by and just saying they were cutting down on alcohol, they weren't drinking. And that really surprised me. And I realized that it was much bigger than I expected it to be. And each week I would see these different types of consumers looking for non-alcoholic alternatives. So the market was there. And I actually realized that then, how diverse and interesting the market was.
Well, especially the tack that you take, Because for those of you who are listening who are not familiar with Mocktail Club, Pauline, you've done such a great job meshing your past global experience. And she's, as a result, oh my God, created just really seriously yummy flavors. So, talk a little about that and maybe share some of the different flavor concoctions that you've come up with so they can get thirsty, run out and buy them.
And I think it goes back to again that farmers market experience where initially I try to make a sangria or something that existed, and it was okay, but it never rose to the alcohol anagram version. And then I was like, well, let me lean into different places I've been and create something from actual scratch. And so, one of the first SKUs was Havana Twist. And it was like, what would I do if I was on a beach in Havana? What would I drink? What would the flavor profile be? And, it was cucumber, mint, lime. And then we put cardamom and cloves, which gives it that herbal notes. And when I tried that, because people had no idea what is Havana Twist, it worked. And I just kept leaning into each one. And Manhattan Berries, Carrie Bradshaw, actually. It was like if I was in a movie and they were holding their little Cosmo glass, what would they be drinking in there? And that's where Manhattan Berry came from. And Capri, same thing, Italy, just a beautiful island. What would you drink? A little bitterness, a little sort of Aperol spritz-like.
Right.
And, Bombay Fire when, I was in India when I worked at the private arm of the World Bank. And, I wanted something a little spicy, a little heat, a little vibrant. And that's where it came. And our latest, which is where my baby moon was, is Bali Breeze. And it's a delicious one that's doing super well in stores. And that's coconut lychee lemongrass. And it's doing phenomenal. So each one has been a destination, and that goes back to the experience. It's bringing these tastes, these sights, these sounds into the drinks, and so it's more of a full body experience. And I go back to that bar, and that's what I wanted. I was a wine drinker, still am a wine drinker, and having those notes, the citrus, the apricot, all the different things that come out of the flavor profile. I wanted that. I wanted it to be a sort of multi-sensory experience from the smell to the taste to the layers. And I didn't feel like whether it was a supply chain thing, people were essentially getting water and putting flavor in water. And that doesn't have those multi-layers, that sensory aspect to it. I think I'm also a big foodie. I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And that comes with that experience, right? You look at a menu and you go to a nice restaurant and it's layered and there's a lot of intention on each ingredient, what they want you to feel, the pairing, all of that is just well thought through. And those are the types of experiences that I am bringing to the non-alc world. So it's exciting.
What do you think people are actually really are craving beyond the drink through this shift to zero proof?
I would say experience, right? And it's the
Yeah,
same with any beverage. I would say it's experience, inclusion, occasion as well.
got
And
it.
again, I want to believe I keep dreaming of this world it's already happening, which is this, it's liquid driven.
Yes.
And I see it, even at events where, there are non-alc options and there are alcohol options in the same event, and people get to choose. And sometimes it's funny when people gravitate towards the non-alc
Yeah.
options versus the alcohol. Again, they have choices. No one's, forcing them to go this way. They choose. And I think where liquid is the star, and it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol or non-alcoholic, or they complement each other, right? After your third glass of wine at your corporate event, you might want to drink something else but
Right.
still be part of the occasion, still be present, still have that complexity that I'm describing, and feel that you are still part of the fabric of everything that's going on. But I think that's where the world is going. I think that's where it's going to be. I mean, there are all these Gen Z stats, they're not drinking. I think there are a lot of millennials that are are also participating as well in this category. But I mean, and what's also interesting is how people are still drinking and drinking non-alcoholic drinks.
Right.
So I don't know if the stats change, but it's over 90% the people buying non-alcoholic drinks that are drinking alcohol, full strength drinks at the same time. So
Wow.
it's this fluid type of market where whether again I feel it's like an empowerment in a sense, right? So think of it whether you choose your rules, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesdays, I cut down on alcohol. Thursday to Sunday, I drink alcohol, or it's just on the weekends, right? People are writing their own rules. Or at an event, I alternate because I know where my limit is and I don't want to surpass it, but I want to be there till 2 or 3 in the morning. But I see it more of a more like you can drink more because you're alternating. You can do
Right.
more because you're healthier or you're focused on your health and wellness. So I see it as more complementary to people's lifestyles. And those lifestyles alternate. And this is where having options, great options and choices come to play. And that's where we slip in.
Yeah, no, which is beautiful because I was going to say, you all, Mocktail Club was really early to market before to the category, right? Before it was really incredibly trendy. How did you stay like confident and just say, I'm not giving up in your vision before the rest of the market caught up? Like what were those early day investor conversations?
Yeah, maybe none. I mean, I think there's always this great line between health and wellness
Right,
and the whole non-alcoholic movement. They were to us, there was a parallel between that, right? And
right,
so I kind of knew who the early adopters were, and that's that sort of Whole Foods buyer, right? The Whole
right.
Foods
Exactly.
store, that person who cares about great ingredients, what they put into their body, loves the whole travel destination. We also used apple cider vinegar, which, most of them have about a tablespoonful of vinegar, actually. So you're drinking vinegar without knowing.
And that's also
And
great for, right, for sugar, like monitoring sugar, sort of helping cut it.
digestion and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. So, and I'd worked at the private arm of the World Bank, worked in renewable energy. So like, we give back 1% to clean water access globally. Water for People is the organization we work with, and I sit on the board. I care about all the ingredients, our supply chain. And the point is, all those things matter to our consumers. And I knew that consumer existed. And so, even though it was early and yes, it was not trendy in any way, shape, or form, I knew all those things that we were doing, like what we stood for, what the product quality was, the ingredients we were putting in there were trendy because that conscious consumer existed. Like back then, exists today. And that was a path. So we went through that natural path with those consumers, and there was definitely a market for that.
So much more organic because I can imagine that would be one of the more frustrating pieces when you're trying to educate investors and others who may not be as up on the category or even be in the field as you had been and known firsthand experience. Hey, no, this is really a thing. You got to just kind of trust me. So I got to say also, one of the things that really impressed me was the different actions you took. Tell everybody a little bit like when you went to the Olympics.
So I was invited. I was very excited to accept the invitation to Paris by Pharrell Williams. There was a competition by Black Ambition, which is started by Pharrell
Yeah.
Williams
Mhm.
to support Black and Brown founders. And so I think the first one was 2021, and I was one of the recipients of Black Ambition. And so it was great. I got an invite with Black Ambition. Pharrell Williams got to share the stage panel with Pharrell, which was such a highlight. Yeah, it was great to meet other entrepreneurs there, to speak about Mocktail Club on sort of a global stage. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. And Pharrell is, he's with Louis Vuitton in Paris too. So beyond even just going there, Black Ambition, it was just great to see the brand there as well. And yeah, so it was a wonderful experience, and just how much creativity can take someone to so many different facets, from music to design to business to so many different things. And so he's super impressive, and it was a great experience.
Just different expressions of it, different activations, if you will. I,
Absolutely. Because I think like you could hear like the production also happening at the same time. And you're like, creating music, creating, garments, all happening in this amazing mind,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Powerful. So,
I had forgotten that you and I shared the whole Black Ambition thing because when I was Chief Growth Officer over at Good Light Capital, a since now shuttered venture capital firm that supported Black and Brown and female founders, we worked with Black Ambition.
oh,
And
okay.
I'm just so impressed with everything that they do. And you're right, Pharrell's amazing. So when you're running your business, and there are gonna be times when you feel like quitting, are there moments when you feel like quitting?
Absolutely.
Okay. What what brings you to not doing it? Like, is it what do you turn to? Probably liquid courage, but what do you turn to? You spike that mocktail club, but what do you turn to kind of get yourself revitalized?
I was laughing because I don't know if liquid courage can help any. Maybe it does, but
I
it'd
don't
be
think it
weird.
does. I
If
think it makes
any founder, I would assume that's just depression. But
yes,
I could be wrong, right?
yes,
Oh, I should stay. No, I mean, I would say community, and there are different layers, right? Like my husband's so impactful here. He always tells me how far I've and how amazing I am and how much I have achieved. And he reminds me of things, obstacles and things that I've gone through to be here and continue to be here. And it's whatever bump it is, it's, another one to dragon slay. So that's helpful. I think, husband, and then you sort of look to the future, which are to some level, like the kids, which are kind of why I started this in the first place. But, before they understood how to read, they knew what branding was, and they could recognize Mocktail Club anywhere in a store, right? And just watching growth happen in their eyes. I mean, I'm fascinated by who they will become as adults. So I think this process is enriching for whatever they want to do, be in life. And
right,
so I think by seeing it's great. And then lastly, I would say my team that I love so dearly. And it's not about like, there's the payroll. What can I pay people? That's always a fun one. But I don't think that's it. As a founder, like I don't have co-founders, it can be lonely. So when you start to cultivate a great team, it becomes their family in a sense. They take on a very important part, not only in just keeping the cogs and the wheels turning, but our success and our wins are shared. It's not about me anymore, right? It starts off about me, and then it becomes a team success. So each win, it's like a celebration amongst other people. And
right.
it's so great to build and have those other people. So, I want more successes with them, more successes with the team, and all these people who are the core to be part of the core. So these are all the fun things, right? And the last part is just trying to build something phenomenal, right? I mean, I think you got one life, maybe you come back as a cockroach, who knows? And if you're a cockroach, you can't build Mocktail Club. I don't know. And like with this one life, I feel like, this is it. I get to choose, I get to make pathways, whether they work out or they don't. Like I get to choose destiny, and there was nothing more fun than doing that. So,
I completely agree. And I'm also thinking that with regards to your children, extraordinary role model, right? Planting the seed that, hey, sure, you can go work for another company, you can be a teacher, you can be whatever, but you have a choice and you can do your own thing. And you really can do your own thing at any age. Sometimes
that's,
it's easier at other times, but it's becoming really so much more accessible to people, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. So with all that, was there one moment in particular when you found yourself up against the wall and it required courage, like real courage? One, what was that moment? Two, what did it teach you about you?
I guess the first one was when I decided to produce thousands of bottles with all the labels because I figured that's how you sell it and had no idea how
Yeah.
I would sell it. So it was my first production run. I'm like, yay, in the garage. I'm like sitting on thousands of bottles, and I'm like, all right, this is awesome. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Where's the
Now,
where's the roadmap? Like, okay, how does this move from the garage to wherever, right?
right.
Um, and I remember it's kind of a funny story. So I talked to this guy, my co-packers, the producers, had given me this like information for this distributor who does like gas stations and some other things. And, told me to talk to him, like maybe they can help you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went there and I was like, hi, why don't you try my stuff? And they're like, ew, this is horrible. You're never gonna sell. And I was like, okay,
Not my market. Next.
not my market. And then, but what was funnier was like, oh yeah, and this guy, this, honest tea guy came here too. We told him no. And like, I remember hearing that and I was like, I'll be okay.
Yeah. There, ting, ting, ting.
If you turn down Seth Goldman and honesty,
Yes.
maybe I'm onto something,
He's a good guy.
But I was like, I'm in good company, so I'm
Yes.
just gonna keep down the path. I think that probably is courage because, you have still no idea how this is gonna work out, but willing to kind of take a bet on the company, take a bet on yourself, take
Yeah.
a bet irrespective of a no, which will happen continues to happen. And you keep chugging along. So, I mean, that's, one of the many no's and all sorts that have happened, and you keep making it happen. So, I mean, it's a sort of fortitude of spirit that you need for entrepreneurship. And, that was the beginning of many of those that you need to keep going through things.
Right, exactly. So what advice would you give to a woman with a bold idea, but to your point, she has no clue where to start?
Yeah, great. I kind of like testing the market. I know it sounds very boring versus just do it. You're awesome.
Yeah,
I feel like, so what is your point of view? You got to ask yourself a few questions. What are you bringing to the world that's going to change the world? And why is it going to change the world? And
right,
then, instead of like feeling daunted, like, yes, it's going to be revolutionary. How do I even do this? Start with little steps that
right,
you need to do. Like, okay, well, if it's going to change the world, how do I actually make it?
right,
And then go through the process of, well, okay, this is how I would make it. And then is there someone willing to part with actual real money to buy this?
right,
And if the answer is yes, then keep going, right? But each
right,
time, if you do it in this sort of small bits that you can chew on and you can execute on, then you can get there. If you kind of just look like, oh, it's going to revolutionize the world and it could be global, like you don't even know where to start, but just start small and keep building incrementally on that success. Like they love it. Or the feedback, like mine, was, oh, they don't want stuff that doesn't taste like the actual alcohol real thing. They want something new and great. And
right,
that's, you start to pivot and you create. But I think by having those little steps, you can get there versus trying to solve everything all at once. And then, LinkedIn's a beautiful thing and people are actually really nice and other women are very nice. And my advisor is still my advisor today that I met through LinkedIn because I sent her a cold call of what I was doing. And she happened to have had a lot of beverage experience in the past and gave me the time and she's still around. She's still my advisor today. And you'd be surprised how many people are willing to do that for someone who's passionate and excited to build something phenomenal. So get those people around you and it helps you kind of navigate mistakes quicker or even know what you don't know. Like, how could I even do this? And by talking to these people, you kind of start getting the steps of, this is how you can actually build.
Right. They can help you uncover blind spots. I also think that by reaching out to those folks, it takes tremendous courage. And so not everybody has it, but they want to be a little part of it. A movement, a great idea, know that they played a role. So you're giving them that opportunity to really help move something forward that they may not be in the position or frankly even desire, right? To even
That's true.
to do it. I would think the little steps piece I think is fantastic because so often, especially in this world of instant access, instant result, unicorn, I got to be a unicorn. That's not a strategy. That's just like saying, I'm going to write something, it's got to go viral. Again, not a strategy. So by doing it little by little, it does give you the ability to instantly, as you said, pivot, make a shift, get smarter. All of a sudden, discover what you didn't know. Oops, and redirect, course correct, course correct, it seems. So, lastly, my friend, knowing what you know now, Smarty Boots, what advice would you give your younger self?
Well, I love this question. I would tell myself how amazingly strong and confident that I am. And I think that's something, I feel like I've grown into a lot. So I would tell myself to already start feeling like you got this. You're so powerful. Like day one, like instead of growing into it. It's a funny thing that there's something when you believe in yourself, you have inner confidence, it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
You know yourself, you know what you're capable of. It becomes obvious. You exude it externally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you just have to believe it inside and it comes out on the outside. And so I would get that glow a lot earlier on.
And it's amazing what that attracts.
It attracts everything. And you don't even know, because when you're trying to attract and you're not even confident, it's harder.
Oh, you feel like a poser.
Exactly.
It's like
But
they're
once
going to
you've
find
got
out.
it, people, it's sort of this gravitational pull towards you.
Exactly. It's magnetic. I totally agree. Well, you definitely are all of that and so much more. Pauline, thank you so much. So many words of wisdom. And I really appreciate your complete honesty. To your point, it would be so easy to say, yeah, go. I had another person say, it is hard. Just know it is be hard. But
That's another good one, right?
yeah, but it's true. It's not easy. But the fact is,
You
there's
can
this
do it.
you can do it, and everybody
You can do it. You just gotta have
yeah.
your little bits so you're not overwhelmed and keep at it. I
Right.
mean, I think that the most interesting thing that I've found is execution is the most important thing. And I think it's so underrated. And that's why I talk about these little steps, because it's all part of the execution game. Because I remember when I graduated from business school and I would come up with an idea for a new business, and I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone. Here's what I'm working on. And I'd whisper it thinking like someone would steal my idea. And now I know for a fact there are multiple people at the same time, maybe even the same day and hour, thinking of the exact same thing. There's another woman that's in the non-alc world that was pregnant. I mean, there are probably more than two of us. There are probably like 10 people, right? And they launched all for the exact same reason. So we're telling the same story, but how we executed 100% differently. And that
Exactly.
will happen every single time. A car, whatever. If yours is going to fly, someone else's is going to fly. How is it going to fly? What is the experience for the consumer?
Like you
That's what matters.
exactly. It's that nuance. And it really, you also used another word that I think is so important, intentionality. And in order to be intentional, that takes precision in time, specificity. So it doesn't all just have to get done fast,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
Power of the pause, I think.
Absolutely. So that's why incremental success,
Mhm.
validation of your success matters. And that's that's the advice, instead of just like lean into it and run. It's
Push, push, push. Exactly.
which is great. Be the first one because someone's going to come and grab you. Again, execution, because no matter what, that competitor is still coming. And
Yeah.
guess what? The last guy sometimes wins
Yeah.
because they learn from all your bad mistakes and they create something so much better because they've actually learned from you and everybody else who's done it one way and got consumer feedback to iterate. So being the first doesn't necessarily mean you're the winner. It's all about execution and the consumer. And that's why I'm always talking about testing and all that stuff. Like let the
Right.
market tell you it is needed. Who needs your product? Who needs your solution?
And
And
then,
what and the intentionality of why do you exist? What is your ethos? Because that also drives your success because you can pull from that because I need to be here because we need X. That also helps you in those days when you want to quit because there's an intentionality about what you're setting up, who you are,
right.
and what you're doing to change the world. And when you have that vision like that, you will continue to build because you know it needs to come to existence.
And I will also say it gives you, well, one, also listen to when the customer is talking. Don't just say, yeah, yeah,
100%.
right? And that's hard. That takes discipline. It sounds like such a basic duh,
It's a great one.
so rarely done. But the other piece too is that it is that nuance. And when you are so clear on all of these things, it gives you permission to say no. Because when you're tempted to like scatter shot to make sure you're covering all your bases, when you're so clear on what your purpose is, what your customer experience is, all of that, you can say, so tempting to go down that route, but no, that's not us. That's not mine. That's that other woman who executed differently.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Pauline, where can people get the drink? Where can we all get Mocktail Club?
Well, you can purchase us at Whole Foods, Wegmans, Target, Giant, on Amazon, on our website, and a number of other retailers as well. Then and Sprouts, we actually will be
Oh,
launching in Sprouts nationally in the next couple of weeks. In Virginia, Maryland, DC area, we'll be launching in Total Wine also in the next couple of weeks. So lots of fun launches, lots of fun retailers. Mom's another great one. Balducci's. So a lot of retailers near you, hopefully. So check our website. And yeah, we'd love you to be part of our club.
wonderful. And I'll be including obviously a link in the blog so everyone can
Great.
support this fabulous founder. Pauline, thank you so, so much. I really appreciate you making the time and being so generous with your wisdom.
Hey, I love this. I love you. And this was wonderful. So thanks for inviting me.
All right. This seems appropriate. And yes, I admit it's corny, and my daughters are going to roll their eyes when they hear this. Cheers to you and future.
I was going to say the same thing.
All right. Big love.
Cheers.
What a terrific conversation. And the thing that I love about Mocktail Club's CEO and founder, Pauline Idogho, is that she is so good at being honest, open, pulls no punches, tells you the truth. And in so doing, really enables you to take a step in her shoes and get a sense of what it's like to really start your company. So, really appreciative to her. And I've got to tell you, the product is really, really good. So do go check it out. It's good on its own. And as a mixer, it's probably extraordinarily amazing. To me, I thought she gave many useful tips, but to me, the three greatest, or maybe it's four, key KB takeaways are, you really got to count on it can be lonely when when you're running your own company. And you don't always know what you don't know. So it's really imperative to surround yourself. It sounds so basic, but with a good community, got to make sure that community extends to the family as well in home, and also your team to help you stay honest, stay grounded, and I'm going to say stay humble. so that you don't fall in love with the idea and you actually really listen to what they're saying, because then that's going to help you grow the brand. Second, and most important, it's all in the execution. Otherwise, you can do a lot of talking, you can do a lot of shiny branding. If it doesn't get done and it isn't done intelligently, execution in and of itself is such a differentiator. And key to that is little steps. In this era of everyone's got to be unicorn, I'm jumping, leaping tall buildings in a single bound. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. One, they help you get smarter quicker. Two, if you're making a mistake, it'll be a tiny little fail. It won't be a huge plummet. And it enables you to actually become much more nimble when you pay attention and when you listen. And then finally, you got one life. And as Pauline said, she chose destiny. So you can do it too. And with that, I look forward to hearing what your favorite flavor is of the Mocktail Club. So look forward to hearing more and talking more and learning more together on the next episode of Women Advancing.
Thanks for listening. May this episode inspire you to move forward. Be sure to go to iTunes, Spotify, katebyrne.co, that's KATEBYRNE.co, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and listen to even more episodes. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. And be sure to meet them on the next Women Advancing. Ta till next time.